It was so cold. Rain was falling, and darkness had nearly settled in. It was the last evening of the year.
In the cold and gloom, a little girl, bareheaded and barefoot, was walking through the streets.
She had left her house with a pair of slippers on, a pair of very big slippers, way too big for her, for they belonged to her mother.
The little girl had lost them while running across the road, while two shiny black cars had zoomed by terribly fast. One slipper had flown off there, and a boy had run off with the other, saying he could use it as a frisbee or a cricket bat to play with his friends.
In an old ragged cloth, she carried several matchboxes, and she always held one in her hand.
No one had bought any from her all day long.
No one had given her a single rupee.
Shivering with cold and hunger, she walked through the city, through the traffic and its toxic fumes, and all the families heading out for their parties. Poor little child.
In all the windows there were lights shining, and there was that wonderful smell of food. It was New Year's Eve.
Plush and warm is all she sees and all she tries to feel. Crushed and torn, behind her eyes, the cold earth beneath her feet.
You're waiting for someone to take you away, but loneliness is all that you'll be feeding on today. They pass you by, pretend to not have seen. They look away, but they're lost. Are you breathing in this world? A ghost among beings, floating around. Is it hope you're looking for out here? A look, a hand, a tear. Don't you know it's just a game we play? Try to run away from their mistakes. Can't you see it's just a foolish game? All we ever do is run away.
She was getting colder and colder, but did not dare go home. She had sold no matches. Her father would surely beat her.
Besides, it was so cold at home. They had nothing over them but a roof through which the wind whistled, even though the biggest cracks had been stuffed with straw and rags.
Her hands were almost frozen.
If I could only take one match from the box and light it to warm myself.
It made a warm, bright flame, but it gave a strange light.
It really seemed to the little girl as if she was sitting in front of a great, roaring fire.
So she stretched out her feet to warm them.
But the flame went out.
The fire vanished, and she had only the remains of the burnt match left in her hand.
This time, when the light fell upon the wall, it became transparent like a thin veil, and she could see through it into a room. On the table, a snow-white cloth was spread, and on it stood a shining dinner service, with a roast turkey in the middle, stuffed with apples and pears.
Am I dreaming? Did the turkey just jump down from the dish?
She saw the turkey waddling along the floor right over to her. But the match went out, and all she could see was the thick, cold wall.
She was now sitting under a beautiful Christmas tree, the largest and the brightest that she had ever seen.
The Christmas lights mounted higher. She saw them now as bright stars in the sky. One of them fell down, forming a long line of fire.
Now, someone is dying.
And she thought about her grandmother, the only person who had ever loved her, but was no more.
She had told me that when a star fell down, her soul went up to the sky.
In the glow, her dear old grandmother stood, clear and shining, kind and lovely.
Grandma, take me with you. I know you will disappear when the match burns out. You will vanish like the warm fire, the wonderful roast turkey, and the beautiful big Christmas tree.
The match burned with such a glow that it became brighter, even brighter than the sun. Oh, grandmother had never looked so gorgeous.
As she took the little girl in her arms and flew higher and higher, where there was no hunger, no cold, no fear.
In a corner, leaning against the wall, sat the little girl with red cheeks and a smile.
Holding the bundle of burnt matches, she was having her most peaceful sleep.
But no one had imagined what wonderful things she had seen, and how happily she had gone with her sweet grandmother into the bright new year.